Dave, we're gonna start with some K-pop. Aespa dropping Savage, the first mini album. And as we've been doing a lot of these K-pop albums, I feel like we're always like, yeah, this group has been around for like 10 years and has all this music, but this is our first time talking about them. That's not the case this time. It's kind of nice to be not super far behind and catching up on these artists, huh?
That's true. Yeah, Aespa with this EP has a whopping 9 official tracks. They debuted as a K-pop four-piece in November 2020. To this point, they had released 3 singles, and now there's a 6-track EP on top of all that. So definitely a change of pace from, say, EXO or NCT and all its myriad subunits, of which we've talked about recently as well. Aespa definitely different. And I think they are notable just to discuss for a number of reasons. And we're actually a little late to this album or this EP, this mini album came out back on October 5th, so about 2 weeks ago. But I think they're important for a few reasons. One would be that they're actually the first SM girl group to debut since Red Velvet, meaning since
Mm,
2014. They don't do this often. So the fact that they are confident enough in the new group to actually make them an official active, musical act, I think says a lot. Probably I think a little bit of this has to do with Girls' Generation going on seemingly long hiatus, so there was a void to fill. But either way, uh, Aespa is now here, and they've had a lot of success already. Two of those earlier singles, Black Mamba and Next Level, have been big hits already, getting TikTok presence, and now you have this new EP. And I think like production wise, there's a little bit of a difference than what we've talked about recently with a lot of the other SM acts. A lot more synth heavy on the
yep.
production here, which I think definitely stands out, right? Because when we think about like electronic production and K-pop of late, of the past like 10 years that we've been referring to, it's a lot more like house and like big bass drops and stuff. That's not quite as modern normally, right? So a bit of
hmm
a change of pace.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a change of pace, but I have to say I found myself really enjoying this 6-track album, mini album. And yeah, I didn't really like the first track that much, Energy, but
Yep.
I thought it really picks up with Savage. That's really the first song that popped off to me, and the title track is just an absolute banger, I thought.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Savage is probably one of the more traditional songs here because it's just a contemporary K-pop
Mhm.
banger. Room for big rap verses, a sung bridge, dance breaks, electronic
Yep.
production. It's all these hallmarks we've been discussing with everyone who's been dropping this year. There's always one song like this on every K-pop project, it feels like. But
Mhm.
it's also for a reason because it works. These are just great bangers, and I actually think they do go pretty hard with the rapping, which I
Mhm.
obviously appreciate. They're not like half-assing it at all. Um, and yeah, so I love Savage, the track as well. And the fourth song, Yeppy Yeppy, I also thought
Yeah.
was really awesome. Just the bounce in that beat, like just that tempo was sick. And
Yep.
then on top of that, the chorus is still excellent.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Probably the most fun track on out of the 6, like, just really makes you wanna move, makes you wanna just, like, get up out of your chair, which I mean, a lot of these songs have that quality, but this one specifically, just like you mentioned, the tempo and just the energy stays up the whole time, which doesn't really happen on every track here. Something like Lucid Dream starts out a little bit more low key and stays a little bit more low key throughout. Um, even like the first track, Energy, I thought wasn't like super energetic. I thought there were points when it obviously
Hmm.
rose up, but kind of stayed more low, which I appreciate because I think sometimes these, like you mentioned, these K-pop tracks can feel cookie cutter, and especially if these groups aren't pushing themselves to be creative, the album can feel a bit samey and a bit same energy level. So I appreciate
Hmm.
them going up and down a bit on this actually.
Totally. And I think there's one other notable piece to S, but it's funny to like find so many like tidbits of things to latch onto for a group that again only has 9 songs out. But there's a big theme through line with their music this through this first year in terms of these like futuristic visuals and these like science fiction like narratives that are kind of following the group in their music and especially in their visuals and their music videos. And if you watch the Savage music video for the track, they're at the end they're dancing along their like virtual like AI like avatars, and apparently these virtual avatars, these counterparts, are kind of accompanying them throughout a lot of their visuals. So it's definitely I think a new thing, in terms of like the world of NFTs, the world of everything electronic, to see this carrying over into music in this fashion, like actually like
Mhm.
factoring into the creative side of things. We'll be curious to see if this continues, but I think definitely something that stood out to me just for being a little different, a little new.
Absolutely. No, I think this is a group. Like I said, I'm glad to be in somewhat on the ground floor with them. Only 9 tracks into their career, so one we can definitely track and see the whole arc ourselves live.